Do you think Nietzsche was onto something with the idea, l- looking into the 20th century, that God is dead? That there is a cultural distancing from a belief in God?
Yeah, I'd be somewhat sympathetic to Jordan Peterson's reading of Nietzsche there. Namely, it's not Nietzsche crowing from the mountaintop, hey, God is dead. It's more of a lament. God is dead and we've killed him. And what will happen in the wake of that? And I think, yeah, much of the totalitarianism of the 20th century follows from that questioning of God and the dismissal of God from public life. So I would be sympathetic with that. Um, when we're beyond good and evil, and all that's left is the will to power, and then why are we surprised that the powerful rise and that they use the power less for their purposes? When we forget ideas like equality and rights, which are grounded in God, why are we surprised that death camps follow? So I think there's a correlation there for sure.
I don't know. I believe that there's a capacity to do good in all of us and a capacity to do evil. And there's something that tends towards good, whatever that is. I tend to think that if that community, that love that we talked about, they find each other, they find the good. If you don't constrain the resources, if you don't push them, if you don't artificially create conflict through power centers and evil charismatic leaders, then people will be good to each other. And whether that's God or some other source of deep moral meaning, that seems to be essential for a functioning civilization.
Yeah.
And it's hard. I mean, that's what humans are. We're searching for what that God is, what that means.
What that triggers in my mind? I wonder if you agree with this, that the modern sciences drew their strength from their narrowness. And what I mean there is they almost completely bracketed formal and final causality in the Aristotelian sense, and they focused on efficient and material causality. And that gave, as I say, great strength, but from the narrowness of focus. But for Aristotle, the more important causes are the final and the formal causes. And so final causality there, what's drawing us? So for Aristotle, he'd look at someone like me and say, okay, you have a intelligible structure, and that leads you to seek certain things for the perfection of that structure, And fair enough, I think that's right. So I seek the good. Right now, I'm seeking the good of being with you. I said, yeah, I'll sit down with Lex Fridman and we'll talk about deep and important things. That's the good I sought this morning when I woke up. Now, why am I seeking that? Well, for a higher reason, a higher good, because it's part of my work. My ministry is to, the church reaching out beyond itself to the wider culture. And okay, well, why do you want that? Well, because I want to bring more and more people into the what I think is beautiful and true and good in the church. Well, how come you want that? Well, because a long time ago, I was kind of myself brought into that realm and find it very compelling. Yeah, but then why do you want that? Well, because ultimately, I want to be friends with God. Now, I've given you one example there, but any act of the will, it seems to me, has to be analyzed that way. The will seeks something; it seeks the good, right, by definition. But the good always nests like a Russian doll in a higher good, right, which then nests in a still higher good, until you come. This is Aquinas to some, in this sense, uncaused cause, an uncaused final cause. There has to be some summum bonum, right? Some supreme good that you're looking for. And that's God, by the way. That's another, I think, rational path to God is every single moment of every day, we are implicitly seeking God.